Coming up today, we're joined by Ian Crawford to chat about his Time Capsule project. We'll also let you know how to score free delivery on Guzman Gomez. And Dan will tell us where you can get your Matildas fix tonight. Till it's done! Produced on Awabakal and Warramai land, this is The Good Stuff on Newcastle Live.
This is
Good.
good stuff.
The Good Stuff! On Wednesday the 16th of August, aka today, Guzman Gomez is rolling out free delivery for the first time ever. Guzmans want to help Aussie sports fans make the most out of this monumental game day by picking up the delivery tab. Absolute legends. And as Dan and I found out, this deal is only available through Uber Eats, Menulog and DoorDash. Yeah, we had a burrito. You can find out more by heading to newcastlelive.com.au.
Newcastle Live. Newcastle Live.
Local muso Ian Crawford is about to release his Time Capsule project, which will be launched at the Wallsend Diggers this weekend. We caught up with him for a chat. I'd like to start off by asking you a little bit about your background and your original journey into music.
Yeah, well, look, I've been playing for many years. I suppose I started in rock bands. Well, I was actually in brass bands to start with. And that's sort of where I cut my teeth as a drummer and did a lot of things in that phase of my life. I was only around 14, 15 then. But then I found my way into rock bands, and once I got the bug, I never sort of got out of that. So I work with a lot of, great musicians that are still around working today. And then progressively, I work with some pretty, I would call them high-profile musicians back in the day. I got to a point in my life where I was playing with what I believe were some of the best in town, and I wanted a change of scenery. So I basically decided to go into a theatre rock sort of band. And I was out front of that band, so I got off the drums. I was always a frustrated front man, and it was just all about, it was a real comical sort of no-holds bar. You know, it's not the sort of band you would have been in if you were, a little bit sacred, you know what I mean? Like you'd be a little bit worried about people's opinions.
Right,
Because it was pretty out there.
Do you think it would still hold up in today's?
Oh, no, I don't. So that was a huge band project. I've always been into projects. So, so we did that, and I basically, then I got another urge to do a country thing. So I branched out from that process, and I had a country band called Ian Crawford and the Country Crayfish, we were called.
Right, yep.
So we went to Tamworth, and I got a bit of a publishing deal back in the day, and I wrote some country songs, and then we took the band, and I just played a lot of country original stuff at the festival over a few weeks. And that was the end of that. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah, right.
So I moved on to the next project, which was just
busy.
Yeah, it was just, and it's always been that way with me. I've just, I've loved the process of music. I've loved being in most facets of it. And as I said, I've met some amazing musicians, and so many different people along the way. It's been a really been a bit of a joy, And then I took a break in 2007 to manage my son's band. They were kids at the time, and they were called Power Age.
Yeah.
And Power Age basically went on the footy show. We put them on a thing called the No Talent Time. They won the whole thing. They won a motorhome, and they dressed up as AC/DC, did all that sort of stuff. And then I just sort of plugged on that, and they started to write their own material, and we went in a competition called the Global Battle of the Bands. Yeah. And they won the Australian arm of that, so we went to London, and they played in the World Champs, and they got second in the world. And they've done a few of those sort of things, and they've recorded their own albums, and as the Crawford brothers, and they're around and about now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you might know the boys, but and they're extremely talented, so that took up quite a portion of my life with my wife, which has been really enjoyable. That's sort of the history, but this particular Time Capsule project that I'm doing now is it's that journey, I suppose, and all the people that I've played with all the way through from the very much the get-go to where I am now. And I've got sort of 4 decades of songs that I've written, and I suppose some of the tracks, like one of the tracks on the album dates back to when I was 17. It's one of the first songs I'd ever written.
Wow.
And
Which one's that?
It's called The River.
The River,
yeah.
okay.
So it's a bit of an ethereal sort of track. And Dave Carter, actually, I was sitting in a room with him, when I was only a bit of a kid, and we were mucking around, and I wrote it there with Dave. I don't know if you know Dave Carter.
Yeah.
But and Dave's playing on the day. And I've got so many different tracks where it's just been a point in time where it's either been written around what was been happening in that decade. So you'll probably hear certain things within that decade. As I said, I didn't go out of my way to put songs on the album that were going to be totally unique, I suppose. It's a bit like comfort food, some of the tracks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's stuff you may say, well, I may have heard a bit of that somewhere before or whatever, but not that was the intention, but it was just some of those songs are just, my recollection of that era or that period. Yeah, so I've got a couple of those style of tracks. A song, I wrote for my mother, which she passed away in 2003. So that'll be a tough one to do on the day. But at the end of the day, it's just a really a broad mix of tracks, from rock tracks to ballads to big power duets. I've got
and you've gotten them printed onto vinyls and CDs.
That's right. So it's a double vinyl album, and I had it done through a company called Implant in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I've got everyone's photo on the inside of the double vinyl album, and it's got all the lyrics, and I didn't really spare much expense on it because I wanted it to be something pretty special.
Yeah.
And everyone that's performed, I've given them a copy of the album, and that was part of my bucket list. So, and then obviously I've done the CDs as well, because not everyone's got record players these days, and it's a bit of artwork if they don't have, So it's really exciting, and we've got as I said, I think out of 57 musicians that played, 58 including me.
Yep.
Yeah, we've we're going to have around 50 on the day, I suppose, or thereabouts, 45, 50. I haven't got accurate numbers right now. And, we've got a lot of people coming from everywhere. So
this sounds like it's going to be a really deeply personal day.
Yeah.
It's happening, the launch of this album is happening at the Mezbar in Wallsend on the 20th of August. And it sounds like, you're going to miss out if you don't get along to it.
Yeah, well, I'd encourage anyone that wants to come along, please do. It will be an emotional day, but it's going to be a great day. And it kicks off at 3 o'clock and goes through till about 6:30. We'll pull stumps up then. Yeah. So it's I'm definitely looking forward to it. And
Thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
You. It's been a pleasure.
This is where it sounds good.
Good stuff. Heading out tonight to see the Matildas take on England. Here are 4 venues we reckon are going to go off. The Lass have got 2 screens, not 1, but 2, for you to cheer on the Aussies to take it home. Of course, there's always the live site in Wheeler Place with the big screen, and the Mayor will be there so you can cheer on with her. On your Nelms. One of our favourite spots to see live sport on the telly is the Hamilton Station Hotel. Check out the beer garden, it's the best in town. But we reckon one of the underdogs is the Lowlands Bowling Club. Always goes off there, and a great feed. To find out more information, head to newcastlelive.com.au.
Good stuff.
That's it for the good stuff today. I'd love to say a big thank you to Ian Crawford. Be sure to head along to Wallsend Diggers this Sunday to catch it live. Thanks heaps for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow from 4 p.m. for more of the good stuff.